Thank you, Laska Hirla. I want at the start to commend the government on the recognition of Palestine. I think this has made a big international contribution alongside Norway and Spain to possible further recognitions, but also to the to creating a momentum for a ceasefire, to creating a momentum for politics to fill the vacuum. And I think it was a worthwhile and important and courageous step for our government to take, and I think it merits acknowledgement. Similarly, I welcome the introduction of the private members' bill today, particularly in the light of the horrific events we have recognised recently in Gaza and in Rafah specifically. The devastation and loss of innocent lives underscore the urgent need for concrete action. Just within the last week, Rafah was yet again a scene of unspeakable violence, a reminder of the ongoing conflict that ravages Gaza. The killings of humanitarian aid workers in April further emphasised the brutal reality faced by those attempting to provide relief and support in these war-torn regions. Our government has commendably recognised these repeated Israeli actions for what they are, and truly they're not merely tragic mistakes, but they are war crimes and they do merit collective punishment, and there is genocide there. Nobody questions the wrongness of what happened on the 7th of October. That's not at issue, nor is there any suggestion Ireland has a proud record as not having a remote trace of anti-Semitism, but this is a particularly different issue, and I suspect a lot of very ordinary Israelis around the world would privately feel similarly. So it's wrong. The bill stands as a testament to our commitment to human rights and international law, and we, and as my two colleagues from government have, accept the bona fides of the bill, accept the work on the bill, and accept that you're trying to do the right thing. The reality of the catastrophe in Gaza between October the 7th, 23 and April 30, 24 is harrowing. During this period, at least 34,568 Palestinians were killed and 77,765 injured. And when you roll figures off your tongue, you forget the human reality for each family, for each individual. And where there's children involved, it's just a horror. The scale of devastation is unimaginable, with more than 10,000 people estimated to be missing under the rubble in Gaza, according to the Palestinian Civil Defence. The entire population of Gaza, 2.2 million, is now in urgent need of food, humanitarian assistance and protection. And like my colleague earlier, I commend you, Minister, for pushing to ensure extra humanitarian aid, and that's good, and it's how it should be. This dire humanitarian crisis underscores the reality of the situation. Now, what we're in essence saying at government level, I think we showed our bona fides, and many of us within our parliamentary parties, many people in this room, worked hard to achieve that. And we showed our bona fides on the recognition of Palestine. I think what we're effectively saying to you today, to the people proposing the bill, we have no difficulty with the bill in principle, we have no difficulty with your motivation, with your objectives, no difficulty with recognising the horror that is there. What we're saying is that the 6-month period is to test and is to achieve the various outcomes. There's questions around the Chicago Convention, there's questions around current grants of exemption, Article 5 of 73 and 79 exemptions not granted. The bill provides that under Article 5 of the 1973 and 1989 exemptions shall not be granted in circumstances where an application has been made in respect of military or dual use items which are destined for or coming from a country which exports military or dual-use items to Israel. But there are complexities here with the Chicago Convention, and there is an issue too with the staffing and the number of people to go onto the aircraft. So there's a lot of background work for enforcement for the various regulations that would apply and the international context. And as it is, it just merits saying that I know Senator Higgins was suggesting earlier that the reality is different, and but as it is at the moment under existing Irish law, all that is going through our soldiers, I mean, there's a debate around that, but munitions and armaments are not allowed under existing law. You might argue to the contrary that that's not implemented properly, but I don't know. But in essence, to conclude, Laska Herrick, we accept the bona fides of the proposal, we accept the genuineness of where it's coming from, we accept what it's trying to achieve, and it's just a question of asking to look at its implementation and its working out. But I presume the Minister will go through more of those technicalities. So I think it's an important debate, and I think sadly and tragically we're going to have to go on almost weekly discussing this awful situation.